Hi everyone, Robin here. Thanks for joining me today on the Poppystamps blog. Today I have a wedding card for you, or it could be suitable for many different occasions. I tried my hand at some watercolor and I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. So let's get started. To make my card, I use the woven circle ring and Delightful Daisy dies. For the daisy, I'm using some of Tim Holtz's watercolor paper, and I'm placing it on top of a piece of Nina 110 cardstock. You'll see why in a second. I actually started to do this just to get a little bit more of impression in the leaves on the Delightful Daisy die, but I was quite pleased with what actually happened. As you can see, the die comes off easily, but the watercolor paper actually stuck to the cardstock. In other words, it was holding my die-cut image in place, which made it quite easy to watercolor. I'm using a palette of watercolors that I saw on Christina Werner's blog. She has some great tips for watercolors. And although I do have the Zig Kuretake watercolor brushes, I always find there's a color I need, and no matter what I do, I can't seem to make it come out. So I find by having a palette like this, and this set comes with 36 different tubes of colors, I can make whatever color I need for my projects. As you can see, this is fun, easy. It's kind of like coloring outside the lines. I found this to be quite enjoyable, and it's a technique I'm going to use again in the future. It was nice having that intricate die cut held in place. So here's my completed watercolor, and now the fun part is to pop it off the cardstock on the back. It's a super cute daisy, and I really like how it turned out. The watercolor paper is somewhat thick, so you may want to run it through your die cut machine twice. Not sure if it will stick to the cardstock that way, but who knows. To cut the woven circle ring, I'm using my Precision Base Plate by Zizix. This is the one they approve of for shimming when you use intricate dies. I am using a piece of deli tissue between my die and cardstock. This really helps when you have a die with lots of pieces like this one. It pretty much makes the pieces fall right out, as you will see. I also ran it through my Big Shot twice, forward and back. So here's the die cut, and I have a technique here where I make sure the cutting edge is facing up, and I lightly tap it on the edge of my cutting machine. The pieces practically, well, obviously, they fall right out. And it'll save you a bit of time having to use your pokey tool when they come out that easy. So in the left I have a top fold A2 card base, and I am going to adhere my woven circle ring to a panel I cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I use my spray adhesive, and I'm positioning my ring to the upper left of the card base. I decided to get daring and do a little flicking. Sometimes flicking scares me. I figure I'm going to get some big blobs somewhere on my card panel, but I kind of lucked out this time, and it turned out. I did trim a 1/4 inch off the right hand edge of my card panel because I'm going to put a strip of black cardstock along that. Years ago, when I did lots of quilting, I found that by adding black to my quilts really made them pop, and I find the same is true with card making. So I cut a strip of black, 1/4 inch wide, and I'm using my tape runner. Little strip of tape runner down the back, and I'm just aligning that strip with the edge of my card panel. Once it's adhered, you can use your scissors to trim off the excess. Here's my cute daisy, positioning it where I think I would like it to go. I'm going to put some liquid glue on the stems. Today I am using multi-matte glue because this stuff genuinely dries matte and you don't see it. I did put some little foam pop-ups on the back of the daisy blooms themselves because I wanted a little dimension in the blooms but not so much on the leaves. So the leaves will be flat and the daisies themselves will be popped up somewhat. My sentiment, happily ever after, is from Poppystamps Peony Stems and Blossoms stamp set. I stamped my sentiment with Versamark and used white embossing powder. I cut a slight angle to one edge, decided where I would like it to go, added a little foam tape on the back, and I was ready to position onto my card front. I decided to finish the card. It needed a little something on that sentiment strip, so I'm using a Doodlebug enamel dot that almost matched the daisies perfectly, I must say. Thanks for stopping by today, and be sure to stop in often for more inspiration from the Poppystamps design team. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.